Hey, it's Norm from Tested.com. I'm down here for Star Wars Celebration at actually an after event. We're here with Holman Wang. You and your brother have just released a book, amazing Star Wars photo book, where you guys built these diorama sets, these felt figures. It's amazing. It's for all three of the original trilogy movies.
That's right.
But tell me about the felting process.
Well, needle felting is a process where you take loose wool roving and you stab it over and over, maybe hundreds, thousands of times. And then when you do that, the wool fibers entangle, and then you can actually start to sculpt with it. And so that's what we've done to create these Star Wars figures, and it took us anywhere from 20 to 60 hours to felt each figure, and those were the actors we cast for our little mini movie, and we took those felt figures on location to shoot them and create these books.
Because the photos you have here are basically these diorama setups.
Yes.
In addition to the felt figures, you're also crafting the interior of the Tandem 4 or simulating, the Ewok village or something.
Yes.
It's recreating these memorable scenes.
Yes.
So what was your approach in framing your photographs?
Well, first of all the figures are made at a 1:7 scale. So we wanted to make sure that the relative heights of all the figures were correct. We didn't want like a super tall Ewok and a too short Darth Vader. And we built the sets at the same scale as well. So we basically wanted to recreate Star Wars scenes as closely as possible. So we looked at film stills, we watched the movies obviously over and over, and we basically built sets visually based on what we saw in the movies and tried to recreate those.
And these figures here they're so intricate. For example, Chewie here, you have the color blending.
Yeah, with Chewie actually, he has a particular texture, and what I needed to do was to take loose wool and I needed to use soapy water and actually kind of create little dreads. And then I had to stab that over the body from the toes all the way up to his head. So it was like one layer of this loose dreads and then over top, and then ultimately I got this furry texture for Chewbacca. So it was super, super labor intensive.
Now you said you're a self-taught and you're actually teaching a workshop here today.
Yes.
So we're gonna learn with you how to needle felt a Jawa.
That's right.
And also provide you out there with some instructions if you want to follow along. The link is below, but let's get right to that workshop.
Okay, let's do it.
So we're finished with the workshop and I have crafted here a little Jawa. This process, there's so many little intricacies that I didn't know about.
Yes.
It's really a fun process. Let's recap what you've taught today. So where do we start off?
Well, we started off by taking some pipe cleaners and we created an armature, which is basically a rough outline of the figure.
It's like a skeleton.
Yeah, kind of a skeleton, yeah. Then you can kind of pose and repose the figure. And then what we wound up doing was taking black wool roving and wrapping it around the armature and stabbing it with a specialized barbed needle. I don't know, hundreds, thousands of stabs tonight. There was a lot of stabbing tonight. And that entangles the wool, starts to build up the bulk, and then you start to sculpt the shape of the figure. And then once we got the head and the feet and the arms, then we added the two yellow eyes with some different colored wool. And then we took some pre-felt like this and added the clothing. And that required us cutting some of the fabric to the right shape, also needling some of the fabric in a way that created pleats.
Because it doesn't drape like
it doesn't drape because it's too small a scale for it to fall naturally. So we had to put in the pleats by needling in these lines, and then we cut out some pieces of felt for the arms as well. Created a cone shape for the head and cut a hole for that. And then the last step was to take some craft felt and add the bandoliers by cutting some strips, pinning them to the back, and then final touch, gluing on a few squares to create the detail.
Wow. And with the materials, all you need really is the needles, the wool, the two different types of wool, the pre-felt, and
this roving here.
Roving, that you entangle, you add density.
That's right. That's
you're
right.
Sculpting with the wool.
And you need a piece of foam so you're not destroying your tabletop. So.
That's fantastic. I love this craft project. I encourage you guys to try it out. We have instructions on the PDF below, and also please check out Holman and your brother's book Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye.